Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan. We start tonight with a new training document obtained by KREM 2 News through a public records request. It shows how Spokane police plan to handle an influx of immigration enforcement calls. KREM 2 Shannon Mowdy breaks down the bulletin.
A 3-page training bulletin from Spokane Police Chief Kevin Hall establishes guidelines for how city officers will respond to calls about immigration enforcement. With ICE agents concealing their identities behind masks and generic police gear, the memo states, it's become increasingly more likely these arrests could be misconstrued as abductions or that criminals could pose as federal agents. Hall adds there's potential for these situations to turn dangerous with local and federal enforcement and even community members armed. Uniformed SPD officers will create legitimacy and hopefully bring calmness and order, he writes. The bulletin outlines how officers will respond to anything reported as potentially criminal or suspicious, but are not responding to perceived or reported immigration concerns. SPD officers are now being trained to ask for a federal agent's supervisor and request credentials. In legitimate ICE arrests, SPD is strictly limited to maintaining public and officer safety and de-escalation with no interference. State law prevents local law enforcement from aiding federal immigration enforcement, except in some circumstances where a judge has signed a warrant. Officers are also required to save all evidence, videos, and file reports on the situation, according to the memo. Despite a request for an interview, KREM 2 News was unable to speak with Chief Hall or SPD officials Thursday. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Two big wildfires continue to burn in Stevens County right now. One, the Hope Fire, has burned more than 7,800 acres up near Northport. It's destroyed 2 homes and about 20 other buildings like barns and cabins. More than 600 personnel are working that fire right now. And just this morning, they said they have it 66% contained. Crews do still have level 1 and level 2 evacuations in place for the area, and investigators are still working to figure out what exactly sparked the fire. The Lake Spokane fire is the other wildfire in Stevens County burning that's up near Thompson. Today, the county's emergency management department is hosting a community meeting at Lakeside High School in just about an hour from now at 6 p.m. This one has burned more than 2,400 acres. It sparked last Saturday, and crews have it 16% contained. More than 300 firefighters are working that fire right now. According to WashDOT, fire crews are performing burns near SR 291, and crews will be flagging traffic and temporarily closing the road. Level 3 evacuations are in place right now for the Happy Hills area. There are also level 2 get ready evacuations from Highway 291 going north to Highway 231 and Rail Canyon Road. And just this afternoon, we received an update on Coeur d'Alene firefighter Dave Tisdall. He was seriously injured in last month's shooting near Coeur d'Alene that killed 2 other firefighters. That Coeur d'Alene Fire Department wrote on Facebook that Tisdall is scheduled for a 4th surgery today at a Colorado specialty rehab hospital. All right, let's pause from the headlines briefly to head outside and talk with Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo in the Outdoor Weather Center. Jeremy, I see no one is no longer mowing the lawn. I can hear you a lot better. Also, things are just warm today.
Oh, I know. I stepped outside and I was like, oh, it's not that bad. In 2 minutes in the sunshine, I've changed my mind. We sit at 88 degrees. It's about where we've been for a good chunk of the day. 88 degrees is still hot. Even just standing here in the sunshine, I can attest to the fact that 88 is hot. We're also relatively dry. Our relative humidities are down below 20%, and that's when we start drying out the atmosphere, the vegetation, the ground, everything. So as we move through the next couple of days, we're going to see hot, dry, and breezy conditions. Not necessarily windy, but breezy with a low moving by off to the north. What that means for us is that we'll see an elevated fire threat, not necessarily that critical fire danger that we've seen recently, but an elevated fire threat. Tomorrow, we're going to see those temperatures right around 61 degrees as we wake up. By tomorrow afternoon, we top out near 90. So similar to today, maybe a degree or 2 different, and that winds up being about the extent of it. Next few days, though, we do find a slight reprieve from some of that more brutal heat. 84 Saturday, 86 on Sunday, and it comes with a few more clouds. You want a good example of what the weekend will look like? I think it's yesterday all over again.
Sounds good, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Today, our Boise sister station spoke to Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson about his reflections on the 3-year Brian Coberger case. Kaylee Gonzalez's brother put Thompson's record on blast after learning that Coberger would receive a life sentence due to a plea deal. Thompson then pushed back on those claims.
Every case stands on its own merits. And every case that my office has handled since I took office 33 years ago has been decided based on what is unique to that case. This case is no different. I can tell you, I understand and I respect the feelings of some of the families or the family members who don't agree with our decision. I honestly do. But there are also others who feel like they have received some comfort and some closure from this. And in the end, it has to be the prosecutor's decision.
Thompson also detailed the physical and mental toll this case had on him and his team. You can hear more from the conversation during the KREM 2 Night Report tonight. For more on yesterday's Brian Coberger sentencing, you can text us the word Moscow to 509-448-2000 and we'll send a link directly to your phone. And a reminder, you can watch every moment from Coberger's sentencing right now on our streaming app. Just download KREM 2 Plus on your TV and watch for free. Idaho senators are renewing a push to break up with the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. The 9th Circuit Court covers most of western states, including Washington and Idaho, plus Hawaii, Alaska, and Guam. Both Senators Mike Crapo and Jim Risch argue the district covers too many states and is too liberal. They argue California dominates the court. Under the newly filed law, Washington and Idaho, along with 5 other states, would create a new 12th Circuit that's separate from California. In a statement, Senator Mike Crapo called the current 9th Circuit insufficient, and said it, quote, impedes the administration of justice throughout the region. He called the move necessary to, quote, provide greater justice for all, unquote. Turning now to a traffic alert, WashDOT crews will be closing part of the North Spokane corridor starting tomorrow. At 7 p.m., crews will shut down SR 395 between the Wellesley and Freya interchanges. WashDOT says crews will install a new signboard over the road. You can use North Freya Street or North Market Street as a detour. WashDOT says that road should reopen at 6 o'clock Sunday morning. And you should have received your ballot for August's primary by now. They were mailed out last week. Voters will decide the top 2 candidates in races that will advance to the general election in November. We are tracking dozens of races and measures across the inland Northwest. By the way, those ballots are due by August 5th. All right, stay with us for KREM 2 News at 5. When we come back, we have an in-studio interview with local Representative Michael Baumgartner. We'll tell you what he had to say about the Jeffrey Epstein case and more. Plus, President Trump visits the Federal Reserve today amid growing pressure to release those Epstein files. That story and more coming up next.